Hello.
I always have the music playing in my head, like, when we're watching the timer go down, like the 5, 4,
Oh,
3,
do
2, 1,
you? I can't
and
even remember it off the top of my
I'm
head.
like
Oh, no, it is.
ready for it.
Is it or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, it's something fancy.
I can't
Yeah,
remember now.
I like it.
I think that was something I think I was just doing a theme tune to a game show, actually. I don't think that was it.
It works. It gets us in
Okay.
there. It gets us ready to
Good
go.
well, I'm glad.
Yeah. Ah, poor Melissa.
I know. I still have 2 lungs for now.
If not, I'll give you, like, half of mine.
Oh, thank you. That's
You're
really
welcome.
sweet of you. I think it might be a tight squeeze to get one of yours in my chest because
We'll have to, like, Tetris it.
yes, because
Yeah.
we're a foot adrift in height.
We are. That's so funny. Imagine a foot difference. Like that's literally the difference between my boys, and they're 3 years difference in age. Um, so
I know. I know. My neighbour's kids are, I think they're 12, 10, and 5, something like that, and
okay,
the 12-year-old and the 10-year-old are both significantly taller than me.
yeah, yeah, that's all right.
So it won't be long before the little one catches up either. Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Anyway, happy 4th of July.
yeah. Thank you. It's the time we Americans were like, no more Brits.
Oh, I thought it was to celebrate Bill Pullman and Will Smith saving the world from aliens.
Yeah, yeah, you have to watch that movie. Everybody watches it on the 4th. And then they had the resurgence, which did you like the second one? Did you see the second
I
one?
haven't seen the second one.
It's pretty good. It
Okay.
actually is. Yeah, you might
Is it the
like it.
same cast? Is it a sequel or is it a remake?
Um, some of the same cast is in it, but it's I won't say it's a remake because of that, like, and it kind of follows, I think it's his nephew, Will Smith's like nephew, the Will Smith's character, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, kind of, but like the same president is in it, I think. Like the president
Okay.
comes back and he's like crazy and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's a sequel.
it's a sequel. Okay. Well, I might look it up if I've
Yeah,
got nothing better to do
you know.
when
Yeah,
Wimbledon's
if you're
done.
not rewatching Station 19.
If I'm yeah, exactly. But
Which I wonder how everybody's doing. How do you feel you're doing
with the
with the hiatus?
hiatus,
Yeah,
I feel like I would be doing better if I knew when it was coming back. I work well to deadlines. I enjoy the security of having a deadline or a date by which something is going to be done. I like to
yeah,
have a little countdown in my head. I like to mentally prepare myself for things, and I mean with everything in life. So
yeah,
so it's the same with Station 19. I would just like to know when it's back. So yeah, the uncertainty of not knowing when it's going to come back and how many episodes there are going to be,
yeah,
I don't like. It doesn't sit well with me. That said, I am so very supportive of the reason
yeah.
that it's delayed. So, I'll put up with the discomfort because it's for such a great cause. I shouldn't really moan.
No, I understand though, just knowing like, hey, January 5th or
Yeah.
even October 4th, something, knowing that that's okay, now that's the date we have to work towards, right?
Yeah, exactly that, exactly
Yeah,
that. But how are
yeah.
you doing anyway with it?
Um, it's sad. I used to think, gosh, the week seemed forever, the week in between that we used to have
Yeah.
to wait. Um, I will say it's kind of going by fast, like it's been a month, um, and it does feel like it's going by quickly. Um, so hopefully it just continues to go by quickly. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying doing these, going back and rewatching. So
Yeah.
I think if we weren't doing this, I'd probably be, I think, missing it a lot more and feeling a lot stronger.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping our listeners are getting the same, kind of comfort listening to us and hopefully they're rewatching with us as well. So
Yes. Yeah. I'm missing, I have to say, I'm missing Karina DeLuca. I'm just gonna
yeah,
get it.
I
I'm just
believe
gonna
that.
just gonna get it out there.
I
but
believe that.
it's just not the same.
It's not, and it's really weird because I met them, so I met them twice. I feel like I in my head I met them once because it was like back to back at the cons,
Yeah,
but I met them twice, and it's weird that I feel like I miss them, like their energy and and
yeah,
it's weird because it's not like they're my besties. You know what? I wish they were my besties, but it's not like I like spent a significant amount of time with them, but it's like, man, I miss them. I miss that time at the con and how it was, and just can't
yeah.
believe it's
The
been,
buzz
a
and the
month.
excitement of it all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So everybody was posting their monthly because Paris has been a month, I think today or yesterday.
that's
So,
mad.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
Yeah.
it's been that long.
No, it doesn't. So that's why I say it's gone by fast, and hopefully this
Yeah,
has helped. So
and we're already up to episode 104.
we are, which I thought was a great episode. I loved it. Totally
Yeah,
loved it.
it was an awesome episode.
It was.
Reignited was the name of the episode. I've got the correct air date now that we've sorted that issue out last week. So it initially aired on the 5th of April 2018, or April 5th, 2018.
Yeah.
Written by Eileen Rosenzweig, and she was a co-executive producer for 7 of the episodes of season 1.
Wow.
Yeah, but this was her only writing credit.
Okay.
And similarly with the director, Dennis Smith, he's directed all sorts of stuff, Tango and Cash and Revenge of the Nerds, but this is his only Station 19 credit.
Interesting.
Yeah, and last week the writer and director were one and done,
Hmm.
one hit wonder writer directors for Station
Yeah.
19. So it'll be
Okay.
interesting to see if that remains kind of like a theme
Hmm.
for the season. I know Paris Barkley directed the finale. I know he
Okay.
bookended the season with his directing. But yeah, it will be interesting to see if they just kind of brought in people to
Hmm.
test them out and
See who fits. Yeah.
yeah, or if we
Hmm.
do get a little bit of consistency start to creep in. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, we had our cold open that we're getting accustomed to now. We've got sisters arguing. One is drinking wine, all for it.
That would be you.
That would, well, I feel like I straddle the line between these two sisters because the other one is stressing out and worrying about the opening and she's going through a to do list. And we know how much I love a to do list.
Yeah.
So I think that
That would be
I would
you.
probably be drinking wine whilst going through the to do list.
I would be eating the cookies as they come out of the oven. I'm like, come on, Melissa, let's get the cookies going.
So we'd have everything covered off, is what I'm
We
hearing.
would. Yeah. We'd
All
be good
right,
to
all right.
go.
We've got it. We've got it all. I was chuffed to see. I think I should have looked this up. Why didn't I look this up? I think her name is Perry Gilpin, one of the
Okay.
actors, the sister that was
Okay.
drinking the wine. Did you ever watch Frasier?
I did. Not a lot, but yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was Roz in Frasier.
Ah, yeah.
She played his producer. Another
Yeah.
Seattle-based show. Frasier was another
Yeah.
Seattle-based show.
Look at that.
There you go. But yeah, I was chuffed to see her tip up because I really liked her on Frasier, and she's a very
Okay.
funny actor. So it was
Yeah.
always going to mean good things.
Yeah.
So, as we say, they're diametrically opposed in their approach to opening a B&B, and they're having a
Yeah.
row about it. Andy's voiceover is about fires reigniting themselves with very little effort, and then that leads to the whole world exploding in your face. And then that's kind of said over a view inside the sisters' oven with the little
Mhm.
pilot light
Mhm.
on. So I guess that's foreshadowing what's to come.
Yeah. And I felt like the voiceover was really long to me in this episode. Like it
They
just
all
kind of kept
seem long
going and
to
going.
me.
It did like awkwardly long, wasn't it? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
get it.
Do you know what? I'm really glad that you said that because you know that I did my notes back in January, and my note when I'm rereading my notes, I'm like, Melissa, you were on one. I was just moaning about Andy's voiceovers. Julia's nodding at me, like, yeah, yeah. She said, She said, "You've said it even to me." So I must
Yeah.
I must have been offended by Andy's voiceovers.
No, they're starting to annoy me, and I'm like,
Yeah, and Andy's your
"Right."
TV wife. So if they're
Yeah,
even annoying you, like, I feel a little bit better about myself.
you're validated.
Yeah, I do. I feel like I'm seen. I feel
Yeah.
validated. Thank you, Tiffany.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Since we're at the B&B, shall we just stay at the
Yeah.
B&B? Shall we just run through the incident while we're there?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit it.
Okay.
Which what a good incident.
It was a great incident. So, well, the first one,
Right. Yeah, we
the
we go
first
back.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first call is to a fire at said B&B. When 19 turn up, the sisters are still fighting. And then once they actually get inside to assess the fire, they see that it's ridiculously minor. It's literally an oven glove in a Dutch oven.
Right.
And we have that exact Dutch oven.
Do you also say do you have it set up? Like, were you gonna show, like,
it's
do you have
it,
a oven mitt in the Dutch oven?
it's not in the Dutch oven, but it's about 4 to 5 feet to my right, and it's the same. It's the exact same color and everything.
Which is like your height if we just turn Melissa over and
Yeah, if you just tip me
lengthen her
sideways,
out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. In fact, looking at that, it's definitely more than it's closer to 6 feet. Because I'm thinking like
So
I would not.
me then.
Oh, look, Julia's going to bring it into shot for you. Look,
Oh, thank you. She brought it into play. Perfect.
see, it's the same color and everything.
It
The
is the
exact same
same.
Dutch
Yeah.
oven. Ours is not on fire
No.
yet. Um,
Yeah.
but the fire is contained within said Dutch oven, so it's no biggie. It takes one squirt of an extinguisher to put said fire out, which is a good job. Oh, did you hear that? Did you
Yeah,
hear
yeah, she did.
my
She said
very
just say that.
practical
Practical German,
German?
logical. Yeah.
Just put the lid on. But it just takes one squirt of a fire extinguisher to put it out, which is a very good job because some schmuck has driven over the hose
Yes.
that had been attached to the hydrant and bursts it.
Yeah.
But no water required. Job's a good one. However, the next day, as per Andy's voiceover, the fire has reignited. Not the one in the Dutch oven. I think it was the pilot light.
Yeah, I think it was a pilot light too.
And it's significantly worse this time. They turn up to see smoke billowing from the kitchen. Initially, there's no sign of the sisters, but then Roz from Frasier comes running out of the house. But her sister is still inside somewhere.
Yeah.
So Jack, Andy, and Maya make their way
Yes.
to the kitchen to the proper fire. They manage to knock it down whilst Vic and Warren are going around the house looking for the missing sister. But then there's a further reignition, which causes Vic to panic and freeze. And then Warren has to come to her aid and get her to safety,
Yes.
whilst Maya, Jack, and Andy put out the reignited fire.
Yes.
They eventually find the other sister, Deborah. She's in the dining room, and there is, I mean, what should really be a dream, but turns out to be a nightmare because there is a whole wall of wine.
The wine wall. Yeah.
I
The
need a
wine
wall of
wall is
wine.
just, you need a wine wall.
Yeah, I need a wall of wine in my life. I've
Um,
got, I've only got one
Shoot.
bottle
Yeah,
of
I
wine
see
up
that.
there.
We'll have
Yeah.
to get that to work on that.
Yeah. So the wall of wine, however, is between Deborah and the escape route. And
I love how this is shot, by the way.
it was so
Well,
good and it was so
it was shot
dramatic.
so it was so freaking good.
So the wine bottles have all heated up and they're now exploding.
They are.
So essentially the wine wall has turned into a dirty bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And so Andy has to leg it through the exploding wine wall.
Which I loved the scene.
It was so good. And then
It was so good.
Deborah's got quite a large shard of glass in her thigh, so Andy ties it off, and then she and Maya manage to get Deb out. I loved the use of the silver platter
Yeah, I
as
did
a
too. How she
shield.
grabbed it and pulled it. Yeah.
So good, so good. They get Deb out, but on the way, she's somehow managed to inhale a piece of glass.
Could you imagine that?
No, horrendous. And Maya has to resuscitate her, but she has to. All right, I'm going to try and use medical terminology. You should know that all of
Do
my
it.
medical terminology comes from ER and Grey's
Oh
Anatomy,
god.
so I might get
Okay.
this wrong. Is what she does, is that called tracheing someone? Does she trach her when she cuts the hole in her neck?
You can call it that.
Because it's a tracheotomy, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
say, "Trach kit" when they wanna
Yeah.
cut someone's neck open.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but I've heard it called several different things, but I mean, yeah, when you do a tracheotomy or you put a trach in, that's where you're gonna go, because that's obviously your trachea. So,
Yes.
yeah, good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Um, so yeah, so Maya sticks a hole in her neck and gets her breathing again. And then the argument between the sisters is forgotten as Sue slash Roz from Frasier accompanies Deborah to the hospital.
Which I think that's what, see, this would all be us. We'd be like yelling at each other and then like, oh my God, I miss you.
Don't leave me
Oh,
alone.
yeah, yeah, that'd be us.
Don't leave me. Exactly. So, I mean, personally, I don't have a great deal to say about the incident because I think all of the character development that happens in and around the fire is like a bigger part of the story within the episode. Because Vic has a bit of a moment and Myra and Andy have a moment, but I've kind of, in my notes, I've kind of dealt with them as separate
Mhm.
parts of the show because they kind of fed into bigger
Yeah.
storylines. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it does. And I just forgot, I think I've said a couple times in the past recordings how rough they made Vic, and I don't like it. I like that they tamed Vic down a little bit
Yeah.
because she just comes across like kind of mean, and I don't like it.
Very abrasive.
Yeah,
Very
that's a
abrasive.
better
Yeah.
word. It's a more detailed word than just mean. It kind of hits it on the head a little bit better.
Mean's fine. Mean works. She was mean.
But she's just been mean, and I like that they kind of tamed her down and definitely I think brought, her and Travis more in. And I'm gonna go on another tangent. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
I could feel it coming.
Well, talking of Travis, the next thing that I've got on my list is Edith.
Yes. Yep.
So that was sort of it wasn't even a rescue, but it was just a little, it wasn't even filler. It was just kind of a, let's chuck this thing in to move stuff along. It was one of those,
Yeah.
wasn't it? A vehicle. It was a little vehicle they
Yeah.
put in for Travis,
It
I
was a
think.
little
So,
aid car
oh,
because
nice.
it aided. Get it? It
Nice, nice, nice,
aided
nice,
in
nice,
the
nice.
yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Good job. Good job.
I'd give you a pat on the back if you were there, but well done for doing it for you.
That was
Yeah,
from you. Yeah.
there you
I
go.
got
Oh, through the there you go.
it.
so, so Travis and Maya see
Which
if
hold on.
yes.
I wanted to ask our listeners,
Oh,
let us know, comment to us which sister you would make us. Which sister you would make Melissa and which one you would make me. I'm interested to see.
oh, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, have us message us, guys, email us, message us, let us know which
Yeah,
sister you would make each of us.
between Sue and Deb, between the
Yeah.
uptight, come on, let's get things done, and the just
Yeah.
sitting here chilling, drinking wine.
Yeah, who's who?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. So I'm glad that you didn't put Edith in the mix because we know that would be me. So Travis and Maya have gone to the, what do you call these establishments in the US? Because
A nursing home.
nursing home. Yeah. Okay. So we sometimes call them nursing homes. I think it depends on the level of care that people need.
Yeah, it could be an
Yeah.
assisted living.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah, like
sometimes we call them residential homes, but
yeah.
we kind of affectionately call them old folks homes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go to the nursing home then. Where we were, was it last time out that some old chap had his gentlemanly area trapped in a stool?
I was gonna say I had his balls stuck. You said it a lot
That
nicer than
works.
I
No.
did. His little cherries hanging. So you said it a lot nicer than I did.
His cherries.
Because it's like the cherries are two little balls on one stem you can get sometimes, so little cherries plopping. I don't know.
I used to love cherries.
Oh God, did I ruin cherries? She said
I
used
think,
to.
yeah, I think
I
you've just
mean,
destroyed cherries.
yeah, I'm
Oh
sorry.
God.
My
Anyway.
bad.
Oh,
Sorry.
it It took a turn again. It took a turn
It
again.
did, it did.
Oh
Sorry, bring
god.
us back, bring us
Bring us
back.
back, bring us
Okay.
back. Um, Edith. Uh,
Edith, yeah.
Edith, she's had a fall. She's had a fall. But the
No
fall
cherries
was
involved.
no cherries in front. God, I hope
No
not.
cherries involved. Yeah.
Um, but her fall
I
was
messed her up,
caused.
guys.
God, oh, it's gone. It's gone. Where's the wine? Um, but Edith has taken a fall, and it was caused by a tremor that she's got. And in said fall, she's dislocated her shoulder. She doesn't want to go to the hospital for fear of not leaving again. She refused meds because they just make her queasy. So Travis just pops her shoulder back in cold,
Yep.
and Maya calls her a badass,
Yeah.
which I
100%.
think it's fair to say she's a badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Travis is worried that Edith's grandson isn't doing a good enough job taking care of her, but she says that she doesn't want to tell her grandson about her condition because she doesn't want him to waste his life taking care of her. And then later that day, Travis attends yet another call at the nursing home. So he then pops in just to check on Edith and meets the very handsome grandson, Grant, and sparks fly
Mhm.
between the two of them. So
Yep.
I don't think there's a great deal here except to flesh Travis out a little bit, sort of compound his position as a very sensitive, caring man, and then obviously to introduce Grant.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And oh, again, another well-used little scene to just kind of do a lot, right? Like it did
Yeah,
way more than the scene was, but yeah, very
yeah,
well done.
yeah. And it was a nice little break from all the kind of action that was going on just to get this. And I also think it's really nice to see the other side of what they do.
Yes.
So,
Hello
kind of,
from the other side. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
it's as if Adele is in the room with me.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you.
That's quite right. But it's we've lost it again. It's gone again. But
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew this was coming. I could feel it. I just knew
it's
where we were
because
gonna
you've
be. And
woken up with more energy. I feel like the COVID haze has
yeah,
lifted.
yeah.
Yeah, which is great. It's g and
It is
I
good.
it's
Yeah.
so good, and I am enjoying the energy, and I'm enjoying the singing.
Okay, good.
I'm still not
Because I mean,
enjoying
I
the
can keep singing.
um, shall we revisit that at the end if we've got time?
Yeah. Sure, sure. We'll hold it over. We'll hold it over.
Good plan, good plan. Um,
Okay.
but no, but do think it's really nice to see the other side of what they do because it would be really easy to make a show about these dramatic rescues and big explosions and
Uh-huh.
running into burning buildings and jumping out of windows. And all that
Right.
stuff is fun and exciting. But then the other side of what they do is this. It's,
Hmm.
going to these medical calls and it's the gentle touch and the intimate moments that they share with people when they're having sometimes the worst day of their life, sometimes just a they're going through a bad period in their life or they're having like an embarrassing time or because I think there's probably some embarrassment there for Edith. There almost certainly would have been some embarrassment for Mr. Cherries.
Yeah.
And it's, just the gentler side of what they do, which is
Yeah.
just as important and heroic as running into these fires, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it gave us the window kind of into Travis as well, like that he has that
Mm.
caring, um, you know, genuine side. Um, and so it really helped kind of, for me, develop that overall character of Travis and how, that he does have that, because otherwise we wouldn't see that.
Exactly. It's when we see them in the quiet moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so poetic.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I was just born that way because I'm English. So we just,
It just Edgar Allan Poet.
exactly.
Okay. All right.
I've then gone to Dean and the JJ problem.
Okay.
Shall we go with that?
Let's just get that over
Let's
with.
get it
Yeah,
done with. So
let's get that.
JJ isn't technically in the episode, but we hear a lot of JJ in the episode.
We do, yes.
So Dean's asking Travis for JJ advice, and he says his friend is interested in a girl who just broke up with someone. Travis cracks Dean's ingenious code and says, "You're talking about JJ, aren't you? And by broke up with, you mean died." And and then Dean wants to know what the appropriate waiting period is on that. I just think that this is something that the show has done consistently well, is just these very funny little moments.
Yes, I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree,
that's
yeah.
just funny. What's the appropriate waiting period
Yeah,
on that? What is the appropriate
yeah,
waiting period on that? I don't feel like I've ever heard that
right.
asked out loud. I've never asked myself that question before. So,
But have you thought it, though? You've never thought it yourself?
no, it's never occurred to me that if you found yourself in that situation, what the appropriate waiting period would be. And so I just
Yeah, I've never asked myself that either, but I don't know if I've ever been put in that situation where I've, like, fallen in love with somebody whose sex buddy died.
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
that's
I've
quite
been
a
in it.
specific situation to be in,
It's
to
a
be
very
fair.
specific, yeah, it is, and yeah, I've never been in it, so I am curious now, though, how long the waiting period on
There
that
you go.
is.
Let us know, guys.
Yeah, let us know. What's the
What
waiting
is the
period?
appropriate waiting period? To be fair, Travis is the right person to ask because Travis, Dean discovered, was getting more than food delivered after his husband died.
Yeah.
So Travis might have a different perspective on that.
When did the food deliveries start is what we
There
need
you
to
go.
know.
There you go.
That's the
There you go.
question.
But it's a really cute, funny scene. Pruitt comes in and he initially can't wait to give everyone the benefit of his wisdom. And he really wants to help out until Travis tells him that Dean basically wants advice on how to get laid.
Yeah.
And then Pruitt changes his mind and walks off.
Yep.
Dean catches up with Pruitt at the front desk later on and asks him again for his advice. And I liked that scene between them. That was really nice because he
Yeah.
says that the rest of the team are just making jokes about the situation, but he wants to respect JJ. And so
Yes.
he wants advice from someone whose opinion he respects. So I thought
Yep.
that was a really nice nod to who Dean is,
Yes, I
and
agree.
this girl's different, and also of how they all sort of revere Pruitt. So I thought that was really nice. Pruitt's still not on board. He asks if they've ever discussed Dean's private life, which they have not, and Pruitt says that he doesn't want to start now.
Yeah, that was a little bit rough.
It was. I find that he can be
Yeah.
a little bit brash at
Yeah.
times, can't he? He can be a bit.
Yeah, almost like he has his cherry stuck in a shower chair or something.
Oh, I feel a theme emerging. But after the incidents, Pruitt appears to have had a little bit of a change of heart. He catches up with Dean in the beanery and he says that he's adjusting to being one of the guys instead of the person in charge.
Now this scene I really liked.
It was a
I really
great
liked this
scene.
one. Yeah.
And he does help Dean out with some lady advice by
Mhm.
pouring a green smoothie over the instant report
Yeah.
for the fire for
Yeah.
JJ's apartment and tells Dean
Yeah.
that he's going to have to go out there and fill out a new one now.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cute.
It was.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see when the Travis and Dean dynamic shifts and when it goes to the bromance being between Dean and Jack. Because
Yep.
in season 5, Dean's loss is taken the worst by Jack.
By Jack. Yep.
But in these early episodes, Dean's kind of paired off with Travis.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think I've even seen any interaction between Dean and Jack as yet. It's all Dean and Travis. So I think that's going to be really interesting.
I
Yeah.
agree. 100%. And then when the when it kind of, because you can't call it a bromance, but when the relationship between Vic and Travis, maybe that's when they kind of group them off. Like, say we're going to put Vic and
Yeah.
Travis together. Because up until this point, Vic and Travis have not had really any scenes
They
for
haven't
me
had
that,
anything major.
yeah, right.
There was one between the three of them and Vic had her mouth guard in.
Yes,
And there was one when Vic came back from the ethanol fire and Travis was checking her over and she said, I have been cleared already, but he seemed to be
yeah,
quite. So I think that now, with the benefit of hindsight, we can see those as like interactions between the two besties. But
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right in saying that they weren't kind of what we now think of as
Mhm.
classic Travic scenes because it doesn't
Yes.
appear that they've got that kind of dynamic yet.
Right.
The only other thing that I've got written down for the whole JJ thing is, and I don't have anything to say about it. I don't have any formulated thoughts. I have feelings that I don't understand. But the line, usually I save a cat or a laptop, and the rest is like a self cleaning oven. It takes care of itself. I don't know what I think about it. I don't know what I feel about it. I just know that I felt I needed to mention it.
Yeah.
I have no, as I say, I have feelings. I don't understand them. I can't formulate what my thoughts are, but I just think that that's definitely a line. They made a choice.
Yeah. Yep. Got it. For sure.
So we were talking about Vic. Shall we talk about Vic's little issue in this episode?
Yes.
So we start out with her teaching Warren about how to hang the hoses, but he wants to try out the VR headset that Jack's bought,
Mhm.
which sounds more expensive to the boots than me, but we'll get into that
Mhm.
later. Also, this is literally just the second occurred to me. This is probably going to be really sexist. Tell me if this is really sexist. But this strikes me as a typical man. Doesn't want to deal with the basics and of hanging hoses and letting hoses dry out. Wants to go and play with the tech.
Yeah.
There's a new toy.
Right. Yep.
Let's just go play with a new toy.
Yep. It is.
But he's excited about the hyperrealism of this VR headset and wants to get into it. And Vic shuts him down and just calls it a video game. Yet she goes and tries it out herself after the
She
incident
does.
at the B&B.
Yep. Yep.
And Warren walks in on her while she's sort of in this VR
Mhm.
world. And while she's in this, what do you call it? Like, is that a metaverse? Is it a metaverse? Is that what a
Oh,
metaverse is?
I think it was a metaverse before it was like virtual reality.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So while she's in this simulation thing, she kicks open a door
Mhm.
and is presented with a fire behind it, and it absolutely freaks her out. She tears off the goggles,
Right.
and it seems that she's having a bit of the starts of a panic attack, maybe.
A
She's
straight
kind of
up panic attack. Yeah.
Warren tries to help her calm down, but she yells at him that she's not his patient, he's her rookie, and she doesn't need his help. And then later on, she's playing on the football table with Dean. Warren is still obsessing over the VR machine, and Vic is clearly stressed out even thinking about the VR. She loses the football game because she becomes so distracted by Warren's
Yeah.
enthusiasm for the VR. And
Yeah.
you can see it all like building up and getting on top of her. And then back at 19, after the incident, Warren lets Vic know that he's picked up on the fact that
Mhm.
she's got a fear of fire. He's kind
Mhm.
of read all the cues, read all the
Yeah.
signs, and she's got a fear of fire since the blue fire incident. And again, he offers to help her through it, but she shoots him down and tells him that it's not the sort of thing that firefighters work through. It's the sort of thing that turns them into postal workers. And so she tells him categorically she doesn't have a problem and that she also doesn't have a medical degree to fall back on.
Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't really like that Vic. I didn't care for it. Um, just too brash.
Yeah. I think I'm finding it really difficult to be objective watching Vic
Mhm.
retrospectively
Yeah.
because she is so harsh. She's really, really harsh.
Yeah.
But once you get to know her backstory and like how
Yes.
self sufficient she's had to be,
Yeah.
the way that she was raised, her sort of raising herself almost because of her parents
Yeah.
giving all their attention to the restaurant instead of her and taking care of her grandmother, being a carer for her grandmother, you can see where this I don't need you, keep out of it, keep to your own lane, I do me thing comes from.
Okay.
So I think it's just me being soft and not being able to cut myself off from because I know how Vic got to that place now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm finding it difficult to be objective and say, but I know she is being harsh. She is absolutely being harsh. She's, but I just I'm just soft on her. Is what it comes down
Alright.
to.
So you're saying I'm not? You're saying I'm harsh?
No, I'm saying that you're absolutely right because we should be watching it from the perspective of not knowing who she is and a getting to know you
Oh,
phase.
like fresh eyes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just having trouble separating the
Yeah.
Vic now from the Vic then.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. She's really harsh, but I can't help but in my own mind justify it.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Do you know
I
what I
get what you're
wish?
saying.
I wish we knew how old Vic was supposed to be
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
because I can't age her.
No. No, we haven't been given that.
Because Barrett Doss is so obnoxiously fresh-faced.
She is. Yeah, she is.
And we know from season 3 that Pruitt basically pulled her out of college to be a firefighter.
Right.
So
Right.
I guess that would put her in her
Her
very
early.
early 20s.
Yep.
I mean, she's only just been promoted from rookie status.
Right.
So
Right.
she can't have been a firefighter long. So are we saying she's in her super early 20s? Which
Yes.
also might explain some of her hubris and some of her
Her
attitude.
behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think I'd like to have some indication of how old they are, just so that I know where they are in their lives. Not that age is an
Yes.
indicator of anything, but sometimes it can be
It
helpful,
can
I
be.
think.
Yeah. No, it can be.
You know, like Karina's desperation to have a child and it being now, 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 now makes
Yeah.
much more sense when you know that she's 38
Hmm.
and not 32, you
Yeah.
know?
Because at 35 now they call you, in the States at least, a geriatric mother. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah.
something to consider for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, have you got anything else to say about Ms. Hughes?
Not for now. Nothing for Huey.
Coolio. Shall we move on to Jack and Andy?
Jack and Andy. Yes. Because I have some feelings about Jack and Andy in this episode. So, yeah,
Oh,
let's do it.
okay. Good. Okay. So we start out with Andy being fuming at Jack for a change. She's angry at
Hmm.
Jack for a change, for spending money on boots without discussing it with her. And they argue in the captain's office whilst the rest of the team watch on from outside. They ask Maya to go in and have a word with Andy, but she says that she's backed off since Andy asked her to. Then Maya's phone rings and she leaves. Then we get more arguing between Jack and Andy in their office. And Andy tells Jack that she heard Frankel say that the captaincy was basically his to lose. And then Jack asks her if she heard him say that she should have made lead lieutenant 2 years ago. And she just says, "Well, I don't need your help." And they continue bickering, which pretty soon then turns into sex.
Yep, which is kind of their thing, which Andy kind of says. But
Yeah,
I really want to get it. What I my strong feelings are towards like it's like the very last scene of the Andy Jack. So,
I had feelings about it as well. So
yeah. Okay.
let's try and get there. Let's try and get there. So after the bickering and the sex, they say that they'll talk about it later.
Yep.
And then Andy has Jack leave first and slam the door as if he's still mad so as not to arouse suspicion with anybody. You know, he said that he was going to do what needed to be done. And it seems like
Hmm.
he did because she's in a much better mood
Yes.
when they're in the grocery store food
Yes.
shopping, which doesn't escape Vic's notice. But she thinks that Andy's good mood is because Jack screwed something up, not because
Yeah.
Jack's.
Screwing her.
I mean, I deliberately did a verbal dot dot dot, but hey,
Sorry.
thank you for no, you filled in the blank for me, which I'm grateful for.
Okay.
No, good job, good job. So Maya then tries to talk to Andy again about her change of heart about Jack, but she won't tell Maya anything. And that leaves Maya clearly upset. And
Yeah.
she says, right, yep, stay in my lane. It's not my race.
Yeah.
Then all of their beepers go off and they're called out mid-shop. And then after the incident, Jack and Andy pretend to fight over how it was handled to cover up the fact that they're ducking into the captain's bunk for sex again.
Yep.
More pillow talk, and this time Andy says that she wants to keep the relationship such as it is to themselves and to not even tell Maya, so no one gets to have an opinion. And she said,
Yeah.
and also I don't want my dad to find out.
Mm.
Jack says that he wants to take Andy to the B&B that they've just saved, but she says it's not her style, that she doesn't really know what her style is because she hasn't given it any thought. Jack, conversely, thinks about it all the time, where his home will be, even though he knows how quickly it can burn down. And he wants to know if the captain's race is going to burn them down, but Andy doesn't answer because evidently she's fallen asleep.
Do you think she's faking it?
I think she's faking it, and
You do?
I think she gives herself away in the last scene as well.
Okay.
But when they get back from the call, Andy wants sex again.
I know. Good God, woman.
Insatiable, this girl.
She is.
Jack says that he's just been going along with the sexy time to make Andy happy, but it's
Yeah.
not making him happy because he wants more. And she says
Yeah.
that she doesn't. She says, well, you dream about your home, but I found mine. It's here at 19, and I don't want another home. And then she tries to seduce Jack again, just as Pruitt walks in with Jack with his shirt unbuttoned and Andy caressing his face. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I think in the first scene, Andy's attitude towards Jack just stinks.
Yes.
When he says, did you hear what I said to Frankel about you?
Yep.
And she's like, oh, I don't need you to help me. How about thank you? Rather
Yeah.
than, I don't need you propping me up. You could say, thank you, you didn't need to do that. But not just like, I don't need you propping me up. Just acknowledge that he's done a nice thing for you that he didn't need to do, I think.
Yeah. Andy's not my favorite character the second time around. She's excite you a little bit.
I just did a fist bump as if the Lionesses just scored against Germany.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that.
um,
Um,
because I was worried that we were going to be at, I mean, friendly loggerheads, but
yeah.
I thought we were going to be diametrically opposed on this because I know that you say that Andy is your TV wife and that you
Yeah, she's
loved Andy, but I
no,
did not like Andy one jot in this episode.
no, I didn't either. I was very happy for Jack for speaking up for himself that he wasn't
Damn
satisfied in the
straight.
relationship because Jack often in relationships, I feel like backs down because he wants to keep the relationship. And so I was happy that he said that he wasn't happy. But the way Andy treated him, like she wasn't listening to him, she wasn't validating him, she wasn't. No, I was not happy with Andy at all. Andy, I think Ross has taken over as TV wife. Sorry, Andy, you just lost me. You lost me. You didn't treat me right. Um, and so I I was not happy with it. I thought she
No,
was rude, she was inconsiderate, she was cold.
yeah,
And you know what, Jack? Move on, dude. You deserve
100%.
better.
Also,
Yeah.
still no chemistry for me. That first when they
Yeah, their
first
kisses
went,
are, yeah.
it looked like someone was trying to feed a baby bird or
Yeah,
something.
did you notice Jack how he kept his jaw so stern?
Yeah,
Like when he was kissing her, like he didn't move his jaw. Like his jaw did not move.
there was just a lot of like pecking at each other.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very strange. I feel like The Office deserved the Maya and Karina action that happened later. I think it needed that to get over the trauma of what it saw go on between Jack and Andy.
You know, we're gonna get there. But I'm just gonna say my comment early.
Go for it.
I would have liked to have seen Maya and Ryan maybe explore that before we got to Karina because they kind of had a little bit of chemistry to me in this
Yeah.
episode. So I kind of would have liked to have seen that. Let us know. Message us if you think you would like to have seen Maya and Ryan, because I would have liked to have seen that a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah, right? Before we got to Karina, see just even if it was for a little bit.
He could have softened her up ready for Karina.
Yeah, he could have. Well, and it would have shown Andy because Andy just like was using Jack and Ryan at her expense whenever she wanted. It
Hmm.
would have shown. It would have shown Andy. You know what? Good people go and they stay with good people.
Yeah.
So
But
forget it.
I completely 100% agree with you on everything that you said about Andy's attitude towards Jack. I hated how dismissive she was of him wanting to take her
Yes.
away. And I think when she said, "Oh, I don't want even Maya to know because then people don't get
Mm.
to have their opinions." Yeah, that's because you know you're doing him wrong and you don't want any
Yeah.
negative feedback.
Yeah.
That's why,
Yeah.
because you know that you're doing him wrong and you just don't want to hear it. You just want to be able to continue to get away with what you're doing. And
Preach, sister.
yeah, and she says, "Oh, and also I don't want my dad finding out." I'm calling BS on that because Maya is a
Yes.
vault. That's not why you don't want Maya to know.
No.
Pruitt hasn't
No.
found out thus far, and so he's not going to find out if you tell Maya again that it's back on with Jack. That's not the
Right.
reason. It's because you don't want to
No.
hear what she has to say because you know that you're doing him dirty.
Well, and I think she knows that Jack's fear of Pruitt finding out are significantly worse than Jack's. Jack doesn't have a fear about Maya finding out,
Yeah.
but I think he has a fear of Pruitt finding out. So she's using that against him 100%.
Yeah, no, you're right. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So her intentions towards Jack are just less than honourable. And in their
Yes.
last scene, she basically tells him that their whole thing has just been about opportunistic sex for her because she says, "Oh,
Yes.
we're good at taking clothes off and taking advantage of these moments."
Yeah.
What a thing to
Yep.
say. So basically
Yeah.
you're just saying to him, "You're just a really great opportunity for me to get my rocks off. You're here, so it's convenient."
Yeah. Right.
The station gets quiet, I get a little bit horny, and you're
Right.
about and you get the job done. So
Right.
that's essentially what she's saying to him, which is so mean. Like,
Very mean.
yeah, and then he says, "I want more. This hurts me." And she
Yep.
still tries to seduce him.
She still keeps going. Yeah.
She still tries to seduce him.
No.
It's
Was so
just
unhappy with her.
yeah, I just
So unhappy because he's still waiting for the conversation about the ring, and he makes that clear.
yeah,
He's still waiting to find out where the ring is at, and no,
it's
no,
just
Andy,
very, very bad behavior.
yes, unacceptable.
Yeah. And then I just have one quick thing to say about Jack, which is to do with his like character development later on. When they're having their little pillow talk, he says that he wants a home even though he knows how quickly it can all burn down.
Yeah,
And as we know later on, we find out that his family home literally did
yeah,
burn down, which is how he lost his
yeah,
family.
right.
So I wonder at what point that was picked up on by the writers and they decided to do that because at this point, I think that that was supposed to be a metaphorical comment
Hmm.
and not a literal comment
Right.
because he's so well adjusted at this point and he's been talking about his parents. So I don't think at this point a decision has been made that that's where his character goes. I think at this point we're still on the quote unquote normal upbringing.
Right.
But I just think that it's so clever. This is another example, I think, of the writers being so clever of kind of going back and finding a thread to tug at and pull
Hmm.
something through.
Right.
And I actually really love that choice to do that with Jack because at this point, I think that Jack is the least well developed and the least interesting character, even 4 episodes in. He's very
Okay.
flat and one dimensional, I think.
Okay. That's an interesting opinion. Um, you're right though. We just haven't learned a lot about him yet.
Yeah,
You know, about his upbringing and his life and his style and things like that. Right
yeah,
now, it's all been focused on Andy when it comes to Jack,
yes, yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Have we slated Andy enough? Shall we move on?
Yes, yes, Andy, we're divorced. Sorry, didn't work out. I'm getting an annulment on that one.
Hey, you live and learn.
You do.
Older women, I'm telling you. You're right to move on to Chief Ross. She's lived a life.
Thank
She
you.
knows who she is.
She is,
She's
yeah.
more settled. Do it.
I think I can treat her better than Sullivan. I think I can pull her from Sullivan.
I
What do you think?
mean,
Do I stand a chance? You can be honest.
you know, I don't know if she swings that way. We've had no indication of that.
Okay, so let's say that we find out that she does, that she's interested in both. Do you think I can
Oh
you
yeah,
think I can persuade her? Okay.
yeah.
You're just being kind.
I know. I think that you're funny. You're very funny.
Okay.
You're very bright.
Okay.
Why not? Why the
Thank
devil
you.
not? Why the devil not?
Why not? It's the question's not why, it's why not.
There you go. Um, shall we talk about Ms. Bishop,
Yes.
the
Yes.
lovely Maya? Can you hear my cat crying?
I can.
Do you need to go out?
Because Willow knows what's coming. She knows
She
this was a
knows.
hard one for Miss Maya
She
Bishop.
doesn't want to hear it. She already watched it with me, and she doesn't want to go through it again. I think she actually
She
might need the
doesn't.
toilet. Let me just let her out in the
Okay.
kitchen.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you need your litter tray? Do you need...
Whoa! Melissa's microphone just fell on her when she turned around. That's what you're missing.
Oh,
And now you're getting the old lady grunts.
there you go, my baby.
Hope you guys enjoy
Hello,
this.
love you.
Melissa, I love you. I know you can't hear me right now, so I'm telling you that I love you. She's having a hard time getting her headphones on. Good there?
Who invents headphones that turn like inside
That
out?
flip. Yeah.
Oh,
You figured it out probably quicker than I would have.
I got there. I got there.
Yeah.
Right, Maya. Poor
Maya.
Maya.
Yes, poor Maya.
So she took a phone call at the beginning of the day. Then, in the aid car with Travis on the way back from Edith's, she's very distracted by her phone again. And when Travis brings up his frustration with Edith not telling her grandson about her illness, Maya agrees and says, when you're going through something big, you should be able to let the people in who care for you. So Maya, I guess, is not talking about Edith. Then, when they get back to the station, she searches the whole of 19 for Andy and asks Vic if she's seen Andy because she needs to pop out, which prompts Vic to ask if everything's okay, which kind of shows how out of character it is for Maya to just
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah. For sure.
And then she's back on the phone saying that she can't be long and gives sort of a cursory look to the captain's office before she walks out of the station.
Hmm.
And then we see that she's gone to the police station
Yep.
and Ryan meets her there, and I think we see Maya rattled for the first time, and we see she's sort of taking a breath to sort of steady herself, and she looks into a room to a young man who's sleeping in there, and Ryan says, "He looks just like you, and I recognize the name, so I tracked down your number." And this lad has been arrested for shoplifting art supplies, and that obviously means something to Maya because she has a big
Yeah.
smile on her face.
Yeah.
And Ryan says that he's recognized him from his patrols as someone that sleeps rough, who sleeps on the streets. And it's at that point that Maya lets us know that that's her brother. And she says that she hasn't spoken to him for at least a year, but she's convinced that he's not homeless. And she says he's fine. But he's got some problems, but he's fine. Which we now know is Maya's kind of default response to everything.
Hmm.
But she gets breathless and she trips over her words and her voice is trembling. And it's the first time that we've seen this sort of behaviour from Maya. And she says that her brother can go and live with her and, she needs to get him to her place. And Ryan says, no, he's better off at the station like this because Ryan says that he can't even hold a conversation at this point. And then Ryan, I love him. Ryan gives Myra a hug and then lets her get back to work. And
Yeah.
Maya then, when back at 19, goes to the captain's office to try and find Andy, but sees Gibson's shirt on the floor outside of the captain's bunk and so leaves instead.
This scene with this whole, not just scene, these scenes with Maya in this episode made me dislike Andy even more. Like, she needs her best friend, and you're too busy screwing a guy you don't have feelings for in the captain's office at work.
Yep. Yep.
Really ticked me off. Really ticked me off, Melissa.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. And then on the way to the second call, Maya tells Andy, "Hey, I tried to find you earlier. I looked everywhere, I couldn't
Yeah.
find you." And then Andy kind of tells a half truth and says that she crashed early because Maya gives her
Mhm.
an out and says,
Yeah.
"Oh, I guess you crashed early, right?" And Andy's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely it."
Yeah.
And Maya says, "Oh, that's not like you. Is there anything that you want to talk about?" And Andy
Mhm.
flips the question and
Mhm.
asks Maya why she needed to find her. And when Maya says that she needed to leave, Andy kind of balks at Maya leaving during a shift and
Mhm.
then asks Maya if there's anything she wants to talk about. And then Maya defensively, but I think also rightly, I think it was fair enough, asks if Andy's asking as a friend or a boss. And Andy
Mhm.
says that she's just asking,
Mhm.
which again clearly upsets Maya, who says, well, there's nothing to talk about.
Right.
And then after the call, Andy tries again, but she assumes that Maya's upset with her for the coaching thing from last
Right.
week. And
Right.
Maya tells her, well, not everything's about you. Fair.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Andy says, well, tell me what it is about then. But instead, Maya seeks out Ryan, and we get
Mhm.
a snapshot of Maya's childhood then. And she tells Ryan that her parents saw her as the prospect because of her athletics, and so poured all of their time and money into her, leaving Mason behind to rot, basically.
Yeah.
And we hear embrace the pain again
Yep.
because she says that she recognized Mason's pain but thought it would make him stronger, like it's made her stronger. And
Yep.
we learn that he OD'd on the same day that she won her gold medal, but no one even knew because her parents were abroad with her.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
blames herself for Mason's predicament. And Ryan very sweetly says that he'll keep a watch over Mason for Maya.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to the police station, and again we see this kind of nervousness from her, taking deep breaths, anticipating speaking to her brother for the first time in goodness knows how long. And he's in the next room, and Ryan's telling him that Maya's come to see him, but Mason just walks away and leaves
Yeah.
Maya looking dejected and confused.
Yeah. That was hard. It was a hard one
So hard. Yeah.
for Maya this episode. Yeah.
But Ryan, I mean, could this guy be more perfect?
I'm telling you that so seeing them together because Ryan doesn't deserve Andy's treatment either.
No.
You know, this kind of whenever I want you, I have you mentality.
Yeah.
Um and I think it would have been a nice filler to put Maya and Ryan together.
I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing
Yeah.
it.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. It rains in Seattle, so, you know.
It does rain in Seattle.
Sorry, I guess this one's a musical.
The musical episode.
Yeah. Oh my God, we should totally do a musical episode. That'd be so funny.
I'll crack out the guitar.
Oh my God, okay guys, message us. Should we do a musical episode?
Oh my
Let us
goodness.
know.
We should definitely do something around that when you come over. That would be
We
so
should.
funny.
Yeah, it would be so funny.
That would be
When I come
hilarious.
across the pond,
When you come over on this side of the pond, mate.
come over on that side.
The wheels just fell off again.
They did, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's fine. But no, Ryan, he's Mr. Perfect. Do you know,
Yes, so sweet.
I think I'm developing something of a man crush on Ryan.
Are you? That's okay.
I
It's all
think
right.
so. It's an
I'll
unfamiliar
support
feeling.
it. But no, so sweet, and especially having meeting Alberto in person, he's so sweet. Um, I really think, yeah, no, I would understand that man crush for sure, for sure.
But Ryan's just he is a lovely man. Do you know what? He's I think I think I've just figured out why
Your
my
man
I have a
crush?
little man crush. I think
Uh-huh.
it's because he's very, very sensitive and very
Mm,
emotionally intelligent,
mhm.
which tend to be feminine female
Feminine. Mhm.
qualities.
Yeah,
So
to
I think
be sensitive and emotional. Yeah.
yeah, so I just think he needs like a really close shave and to grow his hair out a bit and I'm all over it.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right, Ryan.
But he's just so
But
sweet. Like
yeah.
the effort that he's made to contact Maya. So it would have been really
Yeah,
easy for him to just nip over the
yeah,
road or pick up the phone or text Andy and say, "Have you got Maya's number?" Or to phone
right.
19 and say, "Can someone put Bishop on the phone?" But
Yeah,
he's understood how sensitive this is,
mhm,
and so instead has looked her up and contacted her direct so that she
yep,
can keep this private and it's just between
yeah,
them.
yeah,
It's just so compassionate. He has so much compassion for both Mason and Maya because the way he is with Mason is so sweet as well, and it says
yeah.
the shop owner's not gonna press charges and I'll just keep him here. He's better
Yeah, to
here.
give him that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to let him
yeah,
sober up, come around to himself, and then saying, "Don't worry, I'll keep an eye out for him." There's just so much
yeah,
compassion there.
yeah, and empathy.
Yes, yeah, and the way he rubs Maya's back a couple of times, and he's the
Mhm,
one that instigates the hug.
mhm,
He's just such a caring soul, and then listening to her talk about her childhood, he just sits and lets her
yeah,
talk, but it's engaged listening. You can see him engaging with what she's saying. The more I talk about Ryan, the more gutted I am.
yeah, that he's gone, right?
That said, if there's only room for one Italian in the cast, ciao Ryan,
W
ciao Bella.
and so and there you go, and there you go.
Love you, bye.
Yep, love you, mean it.
Yeah. I hated it for Maya, but I loved this for Danielle because I think we get the first glimpse of her range in this episode.
I was gonna say actually, I had that written down on my paper, is,
Yeah.
I agree that we got the first kind of, what she's capable of,
Yeah.
pulling on different sides of her. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've largely seen her do comedy in the
Mhm.
three previous
Mhm.
episodes with a dash of action. But here
Mhm.
we kind of see dark, brooding, dramatic Maya. We see the
Yeah.
beginning of that. And so we get a glimpse of what we know is to come. And so we start to get the what we now know as kind of the classic clenched jaw, the stiff,
Right.
taut body language, that look on her face where she's computing 80 thoughts at once, but trying hard to not show any emotion
Mhm.
from Danielle. So we really see what Danielle can do for the first time in this episode. So
Yep.
I liked that. But I just, similarly to you, I just feel awful for Maya with Andy because she's still tender from Andy telling her to stay out of her business, basically, re the captain's race. That's clear from the exchange in the grocery store. But she still goes to see her. She still goes to seek her
Yeah.
out anyway. She still needs her. She needs her best friend, only to find
Right.
that Andy not only is, to use your terminology, treating her in a very rough manner, but she's also now sleeping with Jack behind Maya's back, keeping that from her. So
Yeah.
it was just, I felt so, I wanted to give her a hug.
Yeah.
Poor,
No,
poor
I
Bailey.
agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Felt
then
so bad for her.
I thought the exchange that they had in the truck was particularly awful as well, because she offered Andy that opportunity to tell her that she's sleeping with Jack again, which she doesn't take. But that
Mhm.
was nothing compared to when Maya said, "Are you asking me if I'm okay? What happened as a friend
Mhm.
or a boss?" To say, "I'm just asking." Ouch.
Yeah.
How about both? How about that? Both. That would have been,
Better than
because it would have been an honest answer, but it also would
uh-huh.
have been like the kinder answer, both. Because
Mhm.
as a boss, this raises difficulties if Frankel or anyone else finds out, because they're going to expect an explanation as to why you've left mid shift, and
Mhm.
they're going to expect me to discipline you for it. And I don't want to do that. So come on, tell me what's going on, and we'll get in front of it. And as your friend, I know that it's not like you to leave in the middle of a shift. So I know that this is something big and something bad. So I'm really sorry that I wasn't there for you then, but I am here for you now. What's happened? How about
Mhm.
that, Andy?
Yeah. Write that one down. Okay.
Yeah, Andy. And then the face she pulled afterwards, she, like, raised her eyebrows, she widened her eyes, and she shook her head,
Sugar, yeah.
as if Maya's the one that's being unreasonable in this situation. It was just completely uncalled for.
I know Andy almost acted like, I'm happy, so that's all that matters. Everybody else just needs to back off, and
Yeah,
everything should be good because I'm happy. It
yeah.
was just did not like Andy at all.
Everyone was an inconvenience to Andy in this episode.
Yeah, if it wasn't what she wanted.
Yes.
Yep.
Some might say that she was being spoilt, acting as if she was
Yeah.
spoilt. So
Some
Pruitt,
some might say that.
some might say. So Pruitt, I see where you were coming from.
Yep.
But I thought it was just really difficult to watch Maya being
Mhm.
treated in that way. Did not like
Mhm.
it at all.
Yeah, it was.
Um, so I mean, to be honest, I've written more down, but it's just
No, I
it's
think we got it.
but I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think we're just flogging a dead horse at this point. But I will just say that I'm not surprised that it was Ryan that Maya went to because he's shown significantly more interest than Andy. And I think that when she said embracing the pain made her stronger, we know now that it didn't. It was just that Mason broke earlier and her trauma manifested itself differently.
Yeah.
But embracing the pain, Maya, I hate to tell you, didn't make you stronger.
No. Nope.
Come back to us in 4 years.
Yeah. We'll reevaluate
Yeah,
that whole ideology.
yeah. Did we miss anything? I think that's the episode in a nutshell.
That is the episode. Let us know if we missed anything or addressed anything that you wanted to hear addressed and we did not get. Let us know. Message us. I was going to say comment, but you can't.
You can let us know on social media. You could comment under
Yeah.
our post of this episode
Yes.
on social media. That we'll post a little. We've got one of our listeners, Diane, who's become a friend of the show, and she always
Yes.
does these really neat. It started out with little pictures, screenshots that she puts
Hmm.
artwork around, but she's
Hmm.
elevated it, and we've got these
Yeah.
next level little clips with our
Yeah.
artwork surrounding them now. So they're amazing. So there'll be one of those up on socials. So comment underneath for us and let us know
Yes.
if we missed anything that you picked up on. But for me, I think this was the first kind of proper episode where we get a real insight into the characters and it's not just kind of superficial. We're
Hmm.
firefighters, so we're fighting fires. This was a proper
Right.
episode, I think. So the
Yeah.
previous three have been sort of scene setting for the relationships. And now we see the relationships in full bloom. And where Andy and Maya have seemed unshakable,
Hmm.
and Maya just seemed to be her cheerleader. We're seeing that all evolve now. So I think this was
Hmm.
for me the first kind of proper episode,
Yeah. No, I can see where
sort
you're
of
coming
full
from.
blooded. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think there was a little theme that emerged in this one as well. I mean, it was a fairly obvious theme. It was a smack you in the face theme, but it seemed that
Mm.
siblings was thematically the thing that ran through this
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
From the two warring sisters who kind of get together at the end and realize what they actually mean to each other to what we see conversely, which is Maya having a breakdown in her
Hmm.
two sibling-esque relationships. So we've got the relationship with her actual sibling Mason, and then this sort of sisterhood that she has with Andy that also breaks down.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I felt like that was the first episode for me where there was a little theme.
Yeah. No, I agree too. The ones up to this point have just kind of been, let's throw at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. And we actually got some growth in this episode, I think, as well. And
Yeah.
not necessarily the growth of each character, but our understanding of the
Hmm.
characters, I thought, grew and shifted in this
Hmm.
episode. So we've got a more fleshed out version of Maya, and we see a little bit more of her backstory. We humanize her a little bit. So she's not just a caricature of the snarky best friend in this episode, which is nice. And then we see how single minded, I guess would be a polite word for it, Andy is.
Hmm. We want to be
Because she,
polite towards Andy now.
I mean, I feel like what's the thing, like a compliment sandwich.
Oh yeah, positive, negative,
Yeah.
positive.
So
We gotta follow it up with the
there
positive,
you
huh?
go. I think we should round it off with, so I'm gonna try and be polite and say that she's single-minded because she doesn't have or want a life outside of the firehouse, so it's quite
Yeah,
she's quite straightforward and quite single-minded. And
yeah,
maybe we can't blame her for that because ostensibly she's been brought up in a firehouse by a single father. So
right.
for her, maybe she sees the firehouse as a home. She hasn't really had a home life outside of the firehouse, so she's got like an attachment to
Yeah,
it, I guess. But
yeah,
but we're also now seeing how selfish she is as well
mhm,
with regard to Jack. He was going to propose, which should tell her how serious he was about her. But she seems quite comfortable to firstly go and sleep with Ryan and then to
mhm.
still sleep with Jack, knowing how he feels. So, yeah, and so I didn't circle back round to that, but it seems that she wasn't asleep when he was talking about finding a home because she
Okay.
brings it up in that conversation with him,
Yeah.
doesn't she? And says, "Well, my home was at 19."
So she gave herself away, yeah,
Yeah, she gave herself away, so
yeah.
she was essentially just ignoring him in bed to avoid having the
Mhm,
conversation,
mhm.
and she only seems
Yeah,
concerned with how Jack's refusal to carry on with their
mhm.
affair affects her.
Their sex
Yeah,
bubble.
exactly, and
Yeah,
when Maya asked her if she was inquiring as to why she left the shift as a boss or a friend, she's completely unsupportive there. That's
mhm,
not the way you don't just go, "Well, I'm just asking." If you care for somebody, that's not right.
mhm.
So she's very careless with people's
Right.
feelings, I think. So I
Yes.
think they definitely have a likability problem with Andy this episode.
Yeah, I would agree.
We have a turn of events with Dean even, when he's asking
Yeah.
how for advice on how to evolve from being a guy who just treats women like self-cleaning ovens because he's got feelings for JJ. Then we see Pruitt evolving and becoming more of a team player and less of a dictator. Travis is trying to move on from his husband. Vic and Warren, it's a reluctant deepening of their relationship because
There
Vic
is,
wants
yeah,
him to butt out, but there is a deepening of their relationship anyway.
there is.
As you said,
Yep.
Jack was honest with himself and honest with Andy
Mhm,
about the relationship. So, although the characters themselves aren't necessarily all evolving, we do see some evolution in some of them, and our understanding of them all is evolving. And we appear to see a positive evolution in just about everybody as well, and a changing in the dynamics, apart from with Andy, who just sort of makes everything worse.
Who just yeah, just kinda was like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah. So I kind of saw growth for the first time, which was really nice.
No, it was. It was really nice. It kinda makes you realize you missed that, and I don't know if it was intentional or if it was not, but I do think it was time and it was needed
Mm.
that they did that for
It
sure.
needed to shift gears, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Did you have a
So,
favorite scene in this one?
I think, it was with Maya, on the hill with Ryan.
Yeah. So similarly, I chose Maya seeing Mason at the police station.
Mm,
And
mhm,
then for my favorite piece of dialogue, I chose her
mhm.
conversation with Ryan on the hill and her
Yeah,
monologue about her
yeah.
childhood.
Yes. Yep, that whole scene would be my favorite for both, for
Yeah.
sure. It was good.
And then I struggled for a gifable moment in this one because it was largely quite heavy.
Mhm.
But I think Pruitt's look of disdain and exit stage left when Travis says that Dean's looking to get laid was quite funny. I can see that working as a gif.
Yeah, I think the look on Travis's face could be a gift
Oh
too.
no,
It was
it
very
was very funny. He was
yeah,
very pleased with himself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so that could be a good
Yeah,
one.
that was a good one. So, banger of an episode.
Yeah, great episode, loved it. I was so looking forward to, talking about this one with you too, just because it was so good, and I was interested to see what your thoughts were.
Yeah, and I've thought that I was gonna have an uphill battle trying to convince you that Andy was not necessarily
No.
a great person in this one,
No,
but I'm
they're
so
not.
glad that you agree.
No. For sure.
So that was easy.
So,
And then
yeah.
we gone.
I was just gonna say on to see episode 5, which is do you got the deets on that one?
Yeah, so it's called Shock to the System, and it says Miranda Bailey. Ah, Miranda Bailey. We get Bailey.
Yes! Woo!
Miranda Bailey visits Ben and meets his new co workers. Most of the team responds to a motor accident involving an electrical danger. Andy and Maya go on their first stakeout. Oh, I remember this episode now that I've read Stakeout.
Ooh, I do too. Yeah, I do too
Yeah,
now. I remember them sitting in the 8 car.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Cool.
there we go. And then, can you can
Yeah.
you believe it? Next week, with episode 5, we'll be halfway through the season.
Right? I know, because there's only 10 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I better go and watch episode 5.
All right, everybody. We look forward to seeing you. Make sure you watch episode 5.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.